The American College and University President's Climate Commitment is a unique voluntary commitment by 655 colleges and universities across the country to reduce the greenhouse gases on their campuses and to ensure that every graduate comes out knowing how to help society do the same. Higher education is the first sector that has made a commitment to becoming climate neutral. It's important because the challenge that we're facing on how to remake the human presence in the natural world in a way that everyone will have a decent quality of life going forward for several generations is the biggest challenge that we've ever faced since World War II. It's bigger than the Manhattan Project, it's bigger than the Marshall Plan for Europe, it's bigger than the war on cancer, and it's bigger than the space race. It's huge because it means that we have to figure out some way to live off nature's income, not its capital, and we have to find a way that will live, that we can actually power our society without fossil fuels. And it's an enormous challenge, and it's one that only higher education can lead. Higher education is the institution in society that everybody expects to do three things. First, to ensure that all graduates have the knowledge, skills, and values to create a thriving and civil society. Secondly, to provide the research on understanding all of the challenges that we face and coming up with the solutions. And third, to be a model citizen for how the rest of society can actually operate in a way that will be sustainable from an economic, social, health, and environmental standpoint.
Well, I think it's very important both in the state of Arizona and nationally, because the issue of the 21st century is all about climate change and environmental sustainability. And if we're really going to educate this next generation of students to live in this society, we have to lead in terms of curriculum, research, and just the operation of the university as a whole. If you think about Arizona as a state, in terms of economic development, we can be a leader in alternative energy, both solar energy and wind energy. And we can devise both the research behind those as well as the practical application in this state. There just isn't any reason why Arizona doesn't dominate that economic development landscape. You know, we have probably a range of 10 or 15 programs directly related to environmental sustainability. And as we evolve those programs, we are moving more and more to trying to follow what everybody talks about are green jobs. And in a sense, in terms of educating people for green jobs, they tend to have very much a science-based background, and they also have some real abilities in terms of new technologies. And as we look at the university the next 2 to 3 years, I'm pushing very hard that we develop those new programs so we become a leader in the nation. Now, you may be surprised that in some ways when I look at the landscape of American higher education. I always say that other institutions need to listen to their students because the students are really driving this agenda. I've never actually seen a movement like this other than go back to the late 60s and early 70s in which students understand the importance of environmental sustainability.
So this is a very exciting time, and I think that what's terrific is that NAU has been a leader for a long time, starting in the early 1990s with the Ponderosa Project, and one of the first colleges and universities to really work at infusing these principles into all the disciplines, because it's no longer about just producing environmental specialists. It's about producing people that will be in every discipline to find ways to do the things that we need, but to do it in a way that lives in harmony with the life support system. And NAU was a leader in that. John, you were one of the first 100 or so presidents to sign the American College and University President's Climate Commitment. I mean, this is leadership, and that's what we hope to have from higher education. And NAU deserves a lot of credit for all of the work that it's done over the last 20 years. And I'm just pleased to just be able to be with you and to have said that I've spent some time on the campus working with this wonderful group of people, from the president on down to the faculty and other people on the campus.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you, John.
Yeah.